Before I start this compilation, I want to say something. And I'm going back to and say what I said on my past stream this Wednesday that nobody watched. But anyway. And I'm talking to the quote unquote black community. You really have to understand what is at play here. The powers that be, the people that are in the White House, Congress, whatever, there's a big agenda underway that is against us and anybody that gets caught in the crossfire, especially the president of the United States, M. Bison. Can't say the other word because YouTube, you know. You really have to lock in and understand what's really going on out here, especially understand what the Caucasian supremacy is, because everything will confuse you. You really got to be 10 steps ahead. All this stuff that's going on right now, the war with Iran, which nobody wanted, prices going up, housing, gas, food, video games, etc. It's all on purpose. They're flooding the zone. They're trying to hit us with a pincer attack where your morale, your confidence, and your stress levels, you know what I'm saying? Your stress levels be high. Your morale will be low to the point where you just feel like giving up. There's no hope for you. You got to understand, these Caucasian supremacists would rather die and burn in hell in the process than to give you anything substantial where the black community will stay afloat, because we'll find a way to stay afloat. We will find a way to overcome things. And that's how much they hate us. But they know if they help everybody else in this country, it will definitely help quote unquote black folks. That's why they're deporting people that could be deemed as our allies, like the Hispanics, Asians, any other ethnicity, to the point where you are the only ones in the streets. They have a one lane, they have a one street where they can take us on. And that's their agenda. You got to understand that this is your fight. Just because they're trying to get rid of other ethnicities out of here, even though some of them legally came to this country. They're afraid. Caucasian supremacy is afraid. That's why you got guys like Bill Gates trying to buy up all land and going with this depopulation control. But they don't mind making their own people, their own kind, as sacrificial lambs for the most biggest evil agenda that we probably will ever see. So understand that, recognize that, because they're really trying to strip our rights away from us, amendments and all that. And they don't mind having their own kind that are not innocent and that are not as racist as them to be sacrificial lambs. And a lot of Caucasian people that are innocent and that are not racist and evil like them, already seeing it, already exposing it. Because I made previous videos before. So hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Hopefully this can get back to y'all. And hopefully y'all can share this video and like it. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do a variety of videos here. Let's begin with the video.
Hey y'all, so the cat's out the bag. I've been studying this type of thing for years, but you can't really talk about it because people will think that you're crazy. So now we know Satanists and Luciferians run the world. 2 Corinthians, it describes that Satan is the god of this world. They own the government, politics, Democrats and Republicans, the court system, the education system, the banks, the Federal Reserve, real estate, farms, Hollywood, what we watch, music, what we listen to, media, what we believe, sports, big pharma, everything. We pay their taxes, we work their jobs, we buy their houses. We don't own anything really, because even if we paid for a house outright, if we miss paying taxes one time, they can take the home. We've been pitted against each other like crazy forever. Black versus white, rich versus poor, men versus women, Democrats versus Republicans, Muslims against Christians. We fight over narratives that they've created to keep us divided while they're doing whatever they want. Hunting, killing, sexually assaulting, sacrificing, torturing, cannibalizing, yes, cannibalizing, and organ harvesting our children. Grooming them and over-sexualizing them, teaching them inappropriate things in school. They start wars and they tell us it's this country or that country, or it's this religion, who's our enemy. And our kids go to war to defend lies. They fund both sides of the war and make billions of dollars while our family members are sacrificed. We have been bamboozled beyond our wildest dreams. Everything we've been fed is a lie. So what do we do? If you're like me, like, okay, we got the information, but what do? We can't impeach the president because that's up to Congress. The only power we have is our dollars, our prayers, and our voices. Some people will laugh at that, but when it comes to their God, they're on their job. They pray to their God, they worship him, they murder, assault children, make blood sacrifices. They are very dedicated to making sure their God is pleased with them. We can stop feeding the beast with our dollars. When things are exposed, we can stop giving them our money. I'm not telling you who you should buy from or where to spend your money, but I do encourage you to investigate the companies you patronize. Find out who they are, what their practices are, what their beliefs are. I know we love certain brands, but do we know their history? Who owns your bank? Is there another place that you can put your money? Because if they decide, they can close the banks whenever they want, or they can freeze our accounts if we don't comply with their narrative. They're purposely poisoning our water, air, and food. So support your local farmers if you have access. I know everyone doesn't have access. I understand that. Buy fresh, real food. Buy land if you can. Grow food if that's in your heart. Even this information we've been exposed to, I think it's designed to see what we will do. This information can make us feel helpless and depressed and even more complacent, giving them even more control to usher in their new world order, their one world government, one currency, one world dictatorship where we have no rights at all. So we can refuse digital ID, we can support smaller venues, we can spread and share information. If we can homeschool our children. Support local farmers. It's healthier, it's cleaner. Get back to eating whole foods. If you can, try and go direct to consumer. And according to Revelation, yes, we are being led to a choice, right? It talks about the mark of the beast in Revelation 13:16 through 17. You can read it for yourself, but that's basically where this is all headed, and it's unfolding right in front of us. There'll be a time that we won't be able to buy or sell unless we take the mark. Can you imagine one world government, one religion, one currency, total dictatorship, total control? Let's do what we can. Spread information, and God bless you guys.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I do so staring at a flag with 50 stars for 50 states which I reside in. And like many, I can't help but wonder why these words are said so proud yet not upheld. To the false promise of the American dream and to the republic for which it stands. A statement made for loyalty. But what happens to loyalty when your own government and officials you're supposed to look up to disregard you and instead choose to pay attention to things that don't help you but harm? What happens to trust when officials take funds that could have easily fed thousands and instead choose to pay attention to things that don't help you at all? 17 million Americans still don't have health care, pro-life yet quick to take one without a thought. Or maybe passing executive orders that don't serve a single purpose for us as a society. I mean, after all, how does the Gulf of America exactly help to stop school shootings? One nation, a nation so divided yet supposed to be united, but it's cool. Let's just ignore everything, because everything you do is fine as long as you state that you live under God, but perfect Christian politicians aren't supposed to hang around young men and women doing things they can't even bear to release on file. And they can highlight to redact, but they can't highlight the Bible to consume the word like the men of God that they claim they are. He defends the course of the fatherless and the widow, and loves the foreigner residing among you, giving them food and clothing. And you are to love those who are foreigners, for you yourselves are foreigners in Egypt. I am the Lord, your God. It's from the Bible, Deuteronomy chapter 10, if you wanted to know. But they don't seem to know that, because if they really honored Christ's values, then they wouldn't treat immigrants the way they do. Indivisible, yet every day people walk around these 50 states in fear that one day they'll get separated from everyone they love. Someone out there holds fear that they'll get a gun to the head, even if they're here legally. What are you supposed to do when you've left everything behind for a country that takes decades for papers to get approved? What are you supposed to do when you've left everything behind for a country just to realize that America is simply a third world country with a Gucci belt slapped on it? And when they express their beliefs with liberty, they get told to shut up, despite the very First Amendment. The opposed bring up the violence sparked from protests, but why is it that we have to fight for peace? I mean, God forbid somebody want good opportunities for their family. Why, America? Why is it so hard to practice what you preach? Because God forbid we want peace. God forbid we want love. God forbid we want a good world and justice for all.
To watch our show, can we give all of the poets a round of applause? And thank you. And again, if you want to earn some college credit, this is a TCC course. You earn 3 credit hours, but it is a dual enrollment course. And we do the spring course, the course that will start next week is interpersonal communication. That's another 3 hours of college credit. So if you're interested, please see your counselor and sign up today. It is a wonderful opportunity to build those skills that you're going to need when you go out into the big world. Or if you're going to college, you can knock those courses out. And before we dismiss, if anybody has any questions for the poet, what did you think about the poets? Can we hear from somebody that wrote their own?
What motivated me was, obviously you can't really escape the media. You're seeing everything that's very terrible going on in the world, and I feel like it needs to be talked about. It's always talked about, but it's always good for awareness, and I just felt it heavy on my heart, and I felt like I needed to talk about it.
That's important, and that is what spoken poetry is, things that just motivate you to find your voice and to give your opinion about things.
I truly believe the music business is run by reptilians.
You know what's funny? I've heard that story at least 3 other times from different people in the industry,
Really?
Whether it be movies or music or whatever. They'll be sleeping to their significant other and their face will change, like their eyes or their face will like blip for a minute. Even Britney Spears, she said she's seen reptilians in the industry. There's so much evidence. Now what we're seeing in the government, they're getting ready for disclosure. They're talking about, aliens and interdimensional beings at congressional hearings.
All right.
So I feel like they're drip feeding information to us.
And we're seeing meteors. You see all these meteors just coming out of nowhere now.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And then
So-
the government just got a domain, aliens.gov. I think they're going to use that to do a dump, like how the Epstein files, hey, just do a deep dive. Here's all the files.
It's funny, they want to do all of this when we were talking about the Epstein files. And it's just like, we got war.
Yeah, let's
Now
go
we
on,
got
right?
Star Wars.
Yeah. I think they've already been in touch with these beings, and I think that the people that we see in places of power, government, entertainment industry, the financial system, some of these people aren't what they appear to be.
They live. It's always in the movies.
Well, yeah, they live. I mean, that movie was amazing.
Changed my life.
I've got one that can see.
Yeah, that movie tells it all. You know, Peter Thiel, right? So his name is an anagram. If you mix it, it's the reptile.
Oh no. Predictive
Can't make this shit
programming,
up.
I
Yeah.
see.
So I'm thinking that these people that are in charge, like Sam Altman and all these other people in tech,
Elon Musk?
He's alien for sure.
Honestly.
He looked
Honestly.
that when he was at the White House, they were little.
He's just a weirdo.
Zuckerberg.
but again, I think they're in the music industry too. And I think a lot of these record executives aren't human. I think a lot of these people that we're seeing that are in the positions of power, they come out of nowhere, they're at the top.
It's too many stories. Like, we keep hearing stories. Different people from different sides of the industry are all giving similar testimonies.
Is Nicole a reptilian?
Last year, I confronted Heizo Takenaka, the former Japanese finance minister, over why he handed over control of the Japanese financial system to a group of American and European oligarchs. He and his envoy told me that it was because Japan had been threatened by an earthquake machine. I did not believe it at the time. However, when I started exposing some of their doings, I was told by the Japanese security police that because of what I had said on places like Rents.com, that Niigata City was going to be hit by an earthquake. 2 days later, Japan's largest nuclear reactor was the exact epicenter of 2 earthquakes, both 6.8 in magnitude. And that was too much of a coincidence for me. So I started doing research and found out about HAARP, H-A-A-R-P. And I realized that they really did know how to make earthquakes. And they do it by shooting a billion-watt microwave into the ionosphere, which is a part of the atmosphere that has a lot of energy in it. That pushes the ionosphere up into outer space, and then it rebounds. And the way it rebounds can cause earthquakes. Just like an opera singer can break a glass by singing at a certain level, or by dragging your fingernails on a blackboard, you feel a weird sensation. If they adjust the vibration for the rock underneath their target site, they can do that.
So let me start off by saying this. I do not have beef with this man or his wife. They have always treated me with respect and hospitality. He even supported me when no other brands at the time of my professional career would touch me. I have no regrets with my involvement with Rockaware, Team Rock, and the relationships I've formed. But those things had to die off because I choose a different path. He chose the darkness and Satan. I chose light in Yahuwah. So let's get into this interview, which I thought was hilarious. Right off bat, they told you exactly who he is. People are trying to break down why he had this Congolese mask and how it meant for the struggle or how it meant for the culture. They don't care about who they are as far as their identity. They're never going to tell you who they truly are or who we truly are. But they know, and they chose a side to be subjugated. He got his hands in the pyramid here. He got his hands in the pyramid here for the photo shoot. His thumbs in the pyramid here for the photo shoot. And of course, you see the Eye of Horus or the Eye of Ra, which is the one-eye symbolism that is all connected to Freemasonry or Prince Hall Freemasonry. As you can see here, it's all esoteric knowledge. They go from black and then they go from white in one 35-minute video. The interviews wearing a black hat with a white background. Then he wears a white hat and the black background, just like the floor in York Rite, Scottish Rite, and Prince Hall Freemason lodges is the checkerboard flag. So the very first part of the interview, he wanted to jump into what happened to him as being accused of raping a young woman. He didn't really go into it because the interviewer was selected for a particular reason and he wasn't going to give him any hard questions where he couldn't handle it. But all you have to see is what he's been propagating throughout his career. I mean, no one is out here really wearing "Do What Thou Wilt," which was a quote by Aleister Crowley. If you know anything about Aleister Crowley, he was a high-level Freemason who believed in sex magic. He meant drugging young children so they could achieve spiritual enlightenment. In theory and practice, in the Book of Magic, he even admits that in order to achieve this higher level of spirituality, that you go after a young white male or a young male child.
Yeah. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about this idea of like you said earlier, like the things that you do for the culture, the ways that you put on, the ways that you try to protect and move forward, but kind of the pushback that you get sometimes about like people throw capitalists at you in a derogatory sense.
Yeah, I think in that verse specifically, the only thing I heard coming up was the American dream until we started being successful. And it was like, wait a minute, you're selling out because you're making money. That was the first thing that was put on musicians. Like, no, I make art first. And then I make sure that I'm compensated for my art. I didn't take advantage. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people. I didn't take no one. That's not my reputation. That's not what I do. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people or taking advantage of, the loopholes in the system or some wrinkle in like a capitalist structure.
This is where it gets a little iffy. And this is why I don't think there are true Prince Hall billionaires. He signed a 10-year, $150 million, 360 deal to Live Nation in 2008, then came back 2017 to sign another 10-year deal, a 360 deal with $200 million. These are the architects of this so-called 360 deal. It is structured, often leads to financial exploitation. So if he's a billionaire, then these men got to be trillionaires, because there's no way they would give that much freedom to any black artist to control their entertainment, control their license, control who they are, control the money they make from touring without any of these guys having their hands in it. The top guy is Hanson, is a manager of former rock bands. Everybody knows Leo Cohen, and these two Tennessee lawyers are the ones that put together the 360 deal. You think when they put this deal together, it was to give artists rights and control over their artwork? No, it's literally financial slavery. They need you Negroes to believe that they are billionaires, so you keep going into this industry and then getting exposed and then knowing that you have to open up your rectum or your prostate in order to elevate into getting a billionaire status. They don't tell you the other side of these deals.
You can get as many degrees as you want, but it's just like trying to get all degrees you want, but you still got a ceiling. He can't go but so high because the people that he worshiping, that he kissing their ass and letting them fill him up and shit, they don't know shit. He's involved with this shit, man.
See, the reason why they pick drug dealers is because if you can sell poison to your own people and destroy them, it ain't nothing for you to do it and say it over a beat. So basically used him. He was literally the least percentage of owning the Brooklyn Nets. But the reason why they put him up here with the owner, because they needed him to be an image to get people out of their housing. So you glossed over the fact that, oh, this is a black man in the corporate white world, really being an image and a representation of us, that you can make it out of the hood and you can clean up your past and you could be right up there with the big dogs. No, they were kicking people out of their homes in Brooklyn. Anybody who's attached to Masonry, it's the cult of Baal. They believe in sex worship and human sacrificing. So he quit rap or retired from rap a little short under 2005. His nephew, which he was close with, he was the one that was sacrificed. Then he came out of retirement, October 27th. And then he came out with Kingdom Come, and Khalik is featured on Lost Ones. He thought that he could live his art outside of control. And that's why they funneled him back in to Masonry.
When you say they, like who is that?
Whatever the threat to, however the system is set up to keep things at status quo. Mm-hmm. And keep us in a position of using words like allow. Mm-hmm. So anyone that's culpable in creating the system that we operate under, that's they.
Yeah.
That's they.
Everybody know who they is. They can't do anything without allowance. That means York Rite, Scottish Rite allow them to put out a certain image. Jewish mysticism or the Talmud allows them to get away with certain rituals and rites because that's their form of passage to elevate themselves through degrees. It has to involve children. It has to involve sexuality. It has to involve blood sacrificing.
You said something just now, though, about you pushing independence, right? Kind of like in the spirit of Prince. When you embody that, do you feel like you are kind of setting a mold or leading a charge for like what the successful black man is allowed to do? And like breaking these spaces, breaking these confines?
Yeah. I even want you to take that out of your vocabulary.
Take what?
Allowed. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not allowed to do anything. You know, in order for someone to allow you, they have to have authority over you.
Can't go but so high because the people that he worshiping, that he kissing their ass and letting them fill them up and shit, they don't know shit.
At the end of the day, they're slipped in there to be gatekeepers for the black community. That is all. Regardless if he says that there's a problem with the alt-right or people going to Republican, he seems to forget that Trump pardoned a snitch that is on his team. So they flip-flop back and forth, and they don't think you guys can readily identify when they're lying or not because y'all so mesmerized by the artwork, which is why they put everything as visuals and music in front of you Negroes' faces because you can't readily discern if it's Masonry, Luciferianism, Satanism, or if it's righteous. And because you had never seen any image of righteousness on the television, you are fooled by whatever image they give you.
I think it is the most beautiful part of the world, and I don't like that the rest of the world owns so much of it and takes so much from it, and no one speaks about it. I'm really looking forward to hoping that the people that are running those different countries all unite and come together and take Africa back. That's what I want to see. Take it back from the French, take it back from the Spanish, take it back from the Portuguese and the British. It's so important for the future of that country and for that continent. I mean, they have all the resources to be the greatest and most powerful place in the world, and that's probably why they are being controlled the way they are. But anyways, move on.